Hi, my name is Peggy, and this is my channel, Bespoke Ability Sewing. Welcome. Today is Friday, so it is a Friday Sews, and Friday Sews is a hashtag that was created by Jen from Today in Jen's Sewing Room as a way to bring the sewing community together. And she very generously has opened it up to anyone who wants to participate. So thank you, Jen, for creating this great hashtag, and thank you for joining me today. I really appreciate it. So I had a fairly productive week, got a lot done. I think I'll start with what I made for myself. So it's this top I'm wearing, which is, and I have my notes here so I don't forget, the Cashmere Concord t-shirt, which I added length to, and it's a bit big, but I made it from an ITY knit, so it fits differently than the first one I made, plus I made it longer. This is an old fabric that I bought from fabric.com, so if it's available anywhere, I don't know. But I really like it because it reminds me of Poochie. Like I say, it's an ITY knit, it's very soft and silky, and it will be great for travel if I ever travel again. So this is pretty straightforward. I reinforced the shoulders with interfacing. I sewed it on my machine. I finished the seams with my serger, and I hemmed it on my cover stitch. The pants I'm wearing are traced from ready to wear. They weren't quite long enough, so I was able to add that to it. I used an old fabric again. This is a white stretch cotton woven, and it was from Vogue Fabrics, and they don't seem to have it anymore. But they're just elastic waist pants. They're very comfortable. Then, moving on to my daughter, the first thing I did was make her a dress because we have hot weather right now, and it could be through October, who knows. But I thought a nice lightweight dress might be a comfortable thing, and she can always layer a cardigan over it if need be. So it's this pattern, which is not a maternity pattern. It's McCall's 5893. It's actually from 2009, but it's still on their website, the McCall's Simplicity website, so it's still available. Very easy. It says it's a 1-hour dress. I, of course, complicated it somewhat. I decided to line the bodice because this just calls to have the bodice and the arm size turned under by 5/8 of an inch and top stitched, and I just don't like that. So I lined it, and that came out really nicely. I think it just looks so good where it's finished. So foolishly, I pre-washed the fabric, which is a rayon spandex jersey that I got from Mood, and I'll link it below. Beautiful quality. It just feels so good. Excuse me, I need a drink. You'll notice my straw coordinates with my outfit. That's just the kind of gal I am. At any rate, so I bought this rayon spandex jersey. I bought 2 yards of it, and I think, that should be plenty for this. Well, I did add length to this, the pink skirt here, so that it would wind up looking like this, but on my 6-foot-tall daughter, it needed to be a little longer. And I decided to line the bodice. So, did I lay everything out and check? No, I did not. I cut out the bodice and the lining and sewed that up. I cut out the skirt piece. Then I went to cut out the second skirt piece, and guess who didn't have enough? So, this is putting the kibosh on my plans. So I went on to, I thought about things to do, like could I piece the back skirt? I could, but I didn't have enough fabric to really fabric match or pattern match it. So that was sort of a last resort. But I went onto the Mood website. They still had the fabric. It was on sale. So it was like meant to be. So I bought some. Now, I could have just bought, say, a yard and been fine. But I bought 3 yards because I decided I really liked the fabric and I loved the colors. So I'll get 3 yards so that I can make something for me too, which I haven't done yet, but at any rate. So once I got the fabric, I was able to cut out the other skirt piece, finish it off, and attach it. Now, something I would change if I made this, well, 2 things I would change if I make this again, and I think I'll give it a try. It's a very graceful skirt. Like I say, it's not a maternity dress. It's for regular folk. But it's got plenty of gathering here that it gives you coverage over the belly. However, it's a little low. And my daughter will probably wear a cami under it if she wears it to work. So the next time I would raise the neckline. But I'll still line the bodice. I really like that finish. And the other thing, it's the elastic. So it's hard to tell here from this picture, but this is what they have you do. You sew the skirt to the bodice, you trim the seam allowance of the bodice and take the seam allowance from the skirt up and make a channel, sew that down, and then put some elastic through it. Now, I suspect the elastic is more for structural strength than it is to bring in the dress, as it's already pretty fitted. But I hate that method. So first of all, it doesn't tell you to finish any of the seams. Well, that's fine. I do it anyway. And I finished the top of the skirt before I sewed it because I knew I was going to make this channel and it would bother me if it wasn't finished there. So I had done that. But the skirt is gathered, so as you bring up the seam allowance and sew it down, it's quite bunchy. And I mean, there's not a whole lot you can do about that. It's gathered fabric. So I don't like that. And what I think I will do, is sew the bodice to the skirt. This is the next time I make it. I'm not going to change it now. So the bodice to the skirt, and then take the same length of probably clear elastic and sew that into the seam allowance all the way around into the seam allowance, and then serge the whatever's remaining. And I think that will give me the structure that I need, or that is needed for this dress, without the weird channel. So I'll put up some pictures. But that was the first thing I made. And then I thought, and I've been thinking this for a while, and I've mentioned it to you, I wanted to get some good slacks for my daughter because I figured those will be really handy and hopefully see her through the rest of her semester and the rest of her pregnancy. They coincide. So I used the Style Arc Barb stretch pants. Again, this is a pattern for normal folk, but I thought, why not, this was an experiment, but why not make a maternity panel waistband combo? And so I traced my pattern. That's love for you because I hate to trace, but I traced it so that I could fool around with it. And then I used various rulers and things, and I trimmed down the back somewhat, and I made a scoop in the front. And I'll put up a picture of what the waistband looks like. I made the pants, the legs, out of a refined refined Ponte from Joann's. It's the black, and I just love this fabric. But I wasn't sure that it would have enough stretch for the belly area. So I used a Supplex from Surge Fabrics, which I've used to make leggings and waistbands and all sorts of things. And it's great fabric. And I thought I had black, but I didn't. So I decided to use navy blue because chances are it's not going to be seen, and it's fairly close in color. So in this picture I put up, you'll that's why one is blue and one is black. So the pants came together very quickly, very easily. Like I say, it was an experiment, and I happen to have quite a bit of this black refined ponte in my stash. I bought it during, I mean, it's in the stores right now, but I bought it during the pandemic online, and I bought 8 yards because I like to make pants for myself out of it. I've made pants for my daughter out of it before, and so I know it's a useful fabric to have. So I figure if these pants don't work out, I can always make her another pair. I have the fabric. Now, I had already determined, actually my daughter had determined how long she wanted her pants the last pair that I made for her when she wasn't pregnant. And I had made little notches where the hem should be on the pattern. And so what I like to do is I cut those notches. It's about 1.5 inches up from the bottom. And after I cut out the pants, I press the hem allowance up. And then I finish off the bottom of the hem with my serger and flatten them back out, sew up the side seams, and then after I've sewn up the side seams and serged them, the hem is all ready to fold up. Now, I did hem them by hand because I'm probably strange, but I think that I like top stitching and I like using my cover stitch, but I think it can create a more casual look, and I wanted these to have a more formal look, like be as comfortable as sweatpants, but look really polished. So I did those by hand, which takes no time at all. And the big question mark on these was the belly panel. But my daughter tried them on and really liked them. And she just suggested maybe adding just a little bit of room to the front panel. So I have redrawn drawn a second version of my belly panel, adding 1/2 inch to the width in front, but not doing anything to the back. And I haven't made those up yet, so I'll try them. But these she thinks are very wearable. She's worn them to work. They're comfortable. They look great. And I will put up some pictures. Now, with these pants, she is wearing a Megan Nielsen Cara maternity tee. This is made out of an ITY that I got at fabric.com. But I made this for her last pregnancy, so this isn't, the top is not a new make. But it fits her just fine, and she did tell me, though, she loves this top, and this is the top that she would like me to use for her maternity tops, but she'd like 3/4 length sleeves. She was pregnant at a different time of year the last time, and so a 3/4 length sleeve she feels will be more versatile because she can always layer it under cardigans too if need be. So then I gotta look at my notes. Then I made the top, well actually then I made something from my Think Pink subscription box, which is from Beyond the Pink Door, and I did a video about that on Tuesday, so I will link that below. I loved that fabric. Oh, it's so soft. But then I made another Megan Nielsen Cara t-shirt for my daughter out of a rayon, out of an ITY that I bought at Spandex House in New York City in 2012. I bought it in person, which is so rare. At any rate, I had made a top for me out of it. It was a Vogue pattern, and I don't remember the number, but I'll try and put up a picture if I have it. But I had enough left over that I could make this, and I thought, well, this fabric would be perfect with the new slacks I've made for my daughter. So I made it. I used Mariflex thread. I serged the seam allowances. I hemmed it with my cover stitch. I did reinforce the shoulders with interfacing. Other than that, very straightforward, very easy. It's got gathering like all the Cara tops have, gathering along the front sides that you gather, that allows for expansion for the pregnant belly. So that came out really well. And then I did a little fabric shopping. So this just came out of the dryer. And it's not really my colors, but I think it's pretty. It's from Apple Annie Fabrics. It's an ITY, and I'm probably going to make a top out of it. So hopefully next week we will see. At any rate, I think that is it for me. I'm going to work on some things for me, some things for my daughter. I am going to make a muslin of a long sleeve t-shirt for my grandson because my daughter has an idea for his Halloween costume and it requires a long sleeve tee, so I volunteered to make it. So, but I've mentioned before, trying to measure him is problematic. So I'm doing the best I can, and that's why I'm going to make a muslin. At any rate, that's it for me today. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope you will consider liking the video and subscribing if you're not a subscriber, and thank you if you are. Feel free to leave a comment below, and I will link everything I can. Some of my fabrics are old though, but I will link everything I can. So thank you so much, and I will see you later. Bye.